we have a photo where Wyclife and I are selling CDs when they were a thing.
CDs.
Yes, in our campus we had like
and we even
some.
sold some of our like African
Kenyan-
things.
Yeah,
So she-
yeah.
And you crowdfunded, put together little money.
Little
You-
money.
Like how much money do people put together? Like,
Like
$2,000?
$3,000
That's not bad.
ish.
That's
Yeah.
a ticket to go and come back.
Ticket to go and then live in Rongai.
You brought her to Kenya and took her to Rongai.
I lived in South Africa.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
It's my African startup story. We've already started the conversation. This is Wyclife and this is Sonia, and the two of them are behind BuuPass, one of the easily the best funded startups in the last 2 years, post-COVID, I think, in my mind. And you guys are doing pretty well. Welcome to my African startup story.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
having us.
First, I'm very impressed to have the both of you, because usually I don't have. Every time we've gone for an event, I've always found you or
Sonia.
you. We've never done a two-person thing, so it's really nice to
Yeah.
have the both of you. Welcome.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about BuuPass from day one. Like, tell me the story. So first of all, when did it start? When specifically did it start? Because I'm hearing something about schools, students, university. We were just talking about how you got a cease and desist from India. Tell me about it. When did it start? Who started it? What's the story?
You can go ahead.
I think it was. So we went to this liberal arts school in the U.S. called Earlham College. Wyclife and I, before that, went to a similar high school called United World College, which is a 2-year program. He got a scholarship to study in Singapore from Kenya. One of the, I think only one person gets it, right?
Yeah.
And I got a
Like
scholarship.
one person gets full scholarship.
Like one person.
From
Like,
Kenya.
From
From
Kenya.
Kenya.
One person.
Yeah.
How many people applied? I just want you to feel nice about it.
I know. I mean, like 3,000 people applied.
You are
30,
one out of 3.
30 got shortlisted.
Right.
Then you have 1 full scholarship, 2 partial, and 3 non-funded. So,
And you are the one.
yeah, luckily.
Lucky. Yeah, good one. Okay, so he's in Singapore.
And I was in Hong Kong, also got a scholarship.
Same situation?
From India to go to Hong Kong.
Okay,
Yeah, same
and
situation.
he had 3,000. How many did you have?
I don't even know.
Like
It
it's
was
India.
It's
like
India. So it's a lot of
300,000.
people.
Like it's
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah. But so we went to a similar high school where they attracted students who believed in creating a sustainable world. It was started after the World War
Okay.
to
Which
basically
one? The first or the second?
the second.
One, I'm sure. Because
to
the first World War, it would have been a failure if it was the first.
Exactly. It would have, and it was an intervention where the hypothesis is that you bring students from all different countries, they live together, they study together, and you create more understanding.
Wow.
So that's what both of us did, lived with very diverse people. Our schools had people from like over 100 countries. And then we find each other in the Midwest, in the middle of nowhere in the US.
The two of you still.
Yeah,
Okay,
the-
so back up. Wait. So first of all, you're in Singapore for how many? So it's high school.
I was in Hong Kong for
Okay, so you're in Hong Kong and you're in Singapore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how old were you at that point? Like
I went,
15.
I went,
15?
yeah. Mine, I went when I was 17.
17.
I turned 17 there.
And so at that time you didn't know each other.
No.
But you
Yeah.
went to the same kind of learning institutions. Okay,
yes,
cool.
yes,
so you
yes.
do that, and then from there, how do you end up in the Midwest of the United States?
Again, we got a scholarship. So a lot of UWs.
Again? The both of you?
Yeah.
Again? Like,
Yeah.
now you're taking it up for them. You guys need to stop. Okay,
Yeah, we got a scholarship to study in a great school called Earlham College.
Okay.
It's a liberal arts school. And because we had similar circles, similar background, we got to know each other. So actually was one of the first people that you met.
Yes, she welcomed me. So going to the US was like the worst time, Polar Vortex 2014 January. Yeah, that was like when US was
Cold.
experiencing the worst snow.
Ever.
So Sonia was there to welcome me with like duvets and blankets, and she was waiting for me. And it was my first time seeing snow.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And then you're not just seeing snow, you're seeing the worst
Yes,
snow
the worst
ever.
snow. Yeah, so she welcomed me. like with the was it blankets and
Yeah, it's a lot of
Yes.
international students would go through like seasonal depression.
Yes, yes. A lot of Americans go through seasonal depression. Full stop.
And
Yeah.
especially if you're
Bad.
coming from a very sunny country like
Yeah.
Kenya.
Beautiful place. I mean, look at this. Look at our beautiful dark skin.
Exactly. So we were like, we need to prepare this guy because I was an year older than him. So we were basically.
You're still a year older than him. Not I was.
No,
It's
I am
just-
still a year older than him. So we were welcoming international students during the winter,
Yeah.
and Wyclife was one of them. And
Okay.
yeah, that's where we first met.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Crazy.
And it's been story since then.
And that's like how many years ago? 10?
10
Yeah,
10 years
10
ago.
10 years ago?
Yeah.
You
10
know each other
good years.
10 years ago. That's
Yeah.
it. Okay, so now you get into college. What are you studying when you went to college?
Economics.
What are you studying?
But with that, so I took a bit. So I wanted to study like psychology. Then we took some computer science classes. That's where we also met again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You remember because of the blankets, because she saved you.
Yes. And we were like taking some computer science classes. Then now I ended up graduating with economics.
Okay, that's
And
what.
she did something else.
What did
Yeah,
you do?
completely different. So I studied biochemistry,
Okay.
but I took some.
Biochemistry.
Yeah, I took
Okay.
some classes. I was very interested in bioinformatics.
Right.
Interestingly, I even have a paper published where I
You
used
published.
Python to look at genomes and stuff. So yeah, so that's how I then got into
Nice,
computer
Sonia.
science and stuff.
Look at you.
Yeah, and so we met, but then our school was not very inclined towards entrepreneurship. It was more, academia, social justice, and we wanted to create a platform where we could get students together who want to start businesses, who want to get into startups. And that's how we then created a club.
What year is this? 2000.
2015, where we created a club, and that's how we then started BuuPass.
But kind of around
as
that
well.
time,
Yeah.
entrepreneurship, Facebook, startups, they were kind of buzz. Right?
Buzz, yeah.
It was good. So it was.
Yes.
So you weren't like working upwards. You were kind of going downwards in terms of creating a club. Were people interested in that whole startup conversation?
Definitely, yeah.
It was
yeah.
good.
Very good.
And the two of you started the club.
No,
Yeah.
she did.
Mm-hmm.
I
She
recruited
led it
him.
and I joined it.
Yeah,
So
I
you are
forced him
customer
to
number
join
one.
me. I was
Yes,
like, I
yes.
need
You
to
gave him blankets, man.
Yeah.
You need to She's got blanket power.
Yeah. I mean,
No.
the
So he was a
first.
founding member. Yeah.
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 You were the first guy in it.
Yes.
You guys have come a long way, man. Okay, so you start the club, and then you said something about starting BuuPass at that time.
So yes, so we started that, and then that's how we found out about the Halt Prize, which puts out a challenge every year
Yeah.
on how do you make the world better through entrepreneurship. And then in 2016, their challenge was how do you better connect people to goods and services and increase their income.
This is the $1 million house, right?
The $1 million
Yes, yes.
Halt
Gotcha.
Prize, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where we started thinking about, okay, what is the medium that actually connects people to goods and services, and transportation literally connects people to education, healthcare, economic opportunities. So that's where we got started.
Yeah.
And
Again, the two of you.
Again, the two of us.
Right.
We had two more people in our
Partners.
group
Okay.
as well.
So you were 4 of you.
4 of us,
Okay.
yes. And you can
Yeah.
can take the story from there.
Yeah. So 4 of you decided, the 4 of us, and all of you are students at this point?
Yes.
And you're like all 4, and so India, Kenya, the other 2 are from?
Congo and the US.
Congo and the US. So you guys are like
Yes.
a mini UN-ish type situation.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
let's go and solve this problem
Yes.
and win $1 million.
Yes.
Just ballsy. You just decided this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so you apply,
Yeah.
and what do you apply with?
So it was so Alpris happens in different stages. So campus round,
Right.
then global, regional round, then global round. So the campus round, we came up with, the BRT buses and, this big Sport Pesa. They're branded Sport Pesa, so people call them Sport Pesa buses.
Yeah.
So we
So
came
the
up.
ones that are double buses that bend. in the
Yes,
middle.
yes. You see them in New York a lot, etc. So we came up with the idea of having these buses because they'll carry mass people, so reduce congestion. But during off-peak hours, they will act as cafe centers, like cyber cafe for students. And it was providing this, and we were trying to
Guys.
add many things to it.
And solar energy.
Guys.
Yeah, and solar energy, and it
Guys.
will collect water.
It will collect
Because the sun-
water?
Yeah, so we came up with things to make it
This is a
enticing.
student project.
enticing for judges. And so, because the internet is expensive in Kenya and we want to educate.
Oh, so you're doing it for Kenya?
Yeah, we are doing it. Like the project, the whole idea was to do it in Africa.
So it was to come up with the idea and then implement. So it wasn't like $1 million for just being cool.
Yeah.
It was take the money and now go to Kenya and do the thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So you come up with the idea, and so when we're like, oh man, this business is good, etc. What do we call it? And then I think it was Sonia's suggestion. Let's call it Magic Bus because it was too magical.
Magic Bus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you thought far. Magic Bus. Like, okay, so you come up with Magic Bus.
Yes.
And then you pitch Magic Bus.
And we fail.
Yeah, we failed.
And of course you fail.
Of course it's not scalable. And we're like, and we lost to somebody who was like doing seaweed farming.
Yes.
Seaweed farm is good.
Which is very scalable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're like, what's wrong with us? Like, we've lost to somebody who's doing seaweed farming.
Yeah,
What's wrong with us?
these people don't understand technology.
It's their fault. It's not us. It's them.
It's their fault.
Okay, so what happens to Magic Bus?
Then we like, okay, let's break it
And
down.
just to be clear, what point is this? Is this the regional, the campus?
Campus.
So it's the campus round.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then we looked at the drawing paper again, we are like, okay, we want to solve for transportation. What actually is the issue? Yeah. And there was a paper by Harvard which said that the issue with transportation is more of an issue where demand is not able to meet the supply,
Right.
and less of the quality of buses or how cool the buses are. And that's what got us thinking, like especially back in 2015, 2016, where shared economy was becoming a thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Airbnb was blowing up, Uber was
Right,
blowing up.
Right. Let's do things together, carpooling and
Exactly.
couch surfing. And,
yeah.
Mhm.
So how can we apply that to then the transport sector? And
Right.
that's how we then came up with our second iteration, where we were working in the matatu sector, where we created an application where the drivers would know the demand along the route, the conductors would know the demand along the route, and then customers could pre-book their matatu in advance, as well, saving time and money on both sides.
And had you been to Kenya at that time?
No.
You understood matatus?
Yes.
Yeah, bro. what are you saying?
I mean,
do you know what I mean?
By then, actually, knowing matatu is, but you look at a lot of people tried then. So you remember Safaricom's 1963 card.
Yes.
You remember Google Beba Pay,
Yes.
etc.
Yeah.
And
Everyone was trying to digitize the matatu space.
Yes.
Has anyone succeeded?
No.
No.
Yet.
Because I think it's too chaotic. There's some
Yeah.
things that just don't need technology.
Yeah, and for us, we believe that, and still in BuuPass, we believe there's a level of business model innovation. So we came up with a way of doing it through USSD.
Okay.
Doing it in specific routes, and also doing it with the right group.
Right.
So we chose Ongata-Rongai, one because the matatus there, the Ongata matatus, they are fancy, etc.
Yeah.
There's a lot of students, a lot of universities, multimedia, JQuat along this route.
But you didn't know any of this, so you were just trusting what he's saying.
I just,
But also, I think what helped convince Sonia and the team then was the power of M-Pesa.
Yeah.
So letting
I have a
them
puppy
know,
in that.
and
So yeah.
yeah, letting them know, like, this is a big thing. M-Pesa is actually a huge thing.
Yes.
You can read about it, etc. And Kenya and Africa is ripe for innovation at this time.
Right.
And showing them all this. So the rest was like, let's navigate this. And a lot of students also helped us, because we'll take a group of students from Africa and ask them, like, from Kenya, Nigeria, etc.
Or like a focus group.
Yes, will this work in your country?
Yeah.
And a lot of them also gave us like a lot of suggestions before we came in. So then Sonia came into Kenya when we were doing the testing. And I think
So where did you get money to do that?
So this was before we won the Hult Prize,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
So-
because now you've not won the campus one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, let's iterate. And why were you iterating? For whom? For what? Why?
to win the competition, I think one was just to align the business to be a tech company, as Sonia was saying. Like, we realized the problem in transport is a logistics problem.
Yeah.
And trying to match the demand and supply in a good way.
But were you building it for the house prize or were you building it for business? Like,
I
because
think
you're
we
still
wanted to
students,
pilot
no?
it, right? We were
Right.
still students. We
Right.
wanted to test it out. So it was
Okay.
too early to say whether it's going to work or not. So
Right.
we really believed in like the lean startup model
Right.
and building it out and testing it. And we got support from our college to build that prototype. But then we needed funding to go and test it out.
Yes.
So we had like a very tight budget. We did some crowdfunding. We have a photo where Wyclife and I are selling CDs when they were a thing.
CDs.
Yes, in our campus. We had like
and we even
some...
sold some of our like African
Kenyan-
things.
oh, right.
Yeah,
So she
yeah.
had some outfit that she was, and I will sell like these ones. and stuff.
And you've
Yeah.
still never been to Africa at that time.
No,
Yeah.
it's still not been. I was...
Hey, Wycliffe, you really sold it on this plan. You're like, over there.
We need to
Yeah,
market Kenya.
yeah. We're just like,
Magical
yo.
Kenya.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah, and honestly, I felt like I could, because whenever I would talk to both in UWC and Earlham, I would talk to like my friends from Africa. I could see a lot of similarities between the challenges we had in India to Africa.
Because
so
you
I
would think that you would convince him to do something in India instead of him convincing you to do something in Africa. It's kind of how you think. Because India has the numbers.
It has the numbers, yes. But then again, I felt like India was a bit ahead. I would
Okay.
say India still is like 10 years ahead, probably. So we're like, it has worked in Asia. It has worked in Europe. Let's bring it to, Africa, which is an untapped market. So
Yeah.
for me, it was also a bit of an opportunity to learn and,
And to travel.
be in the right place at the right time as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, that's true.
And
And you crowdfunded, put together little money.
Little money.
Like how much money do people put together? Like $2,000?
$3,000
That's not bad.
ish.
That's
Yeah.
a ticket to go and come back.
Ticket to go and then live in Rongai.
You brought her to Kenya and took her to Rongai.
I lived in South B first.
South B and then
Yeah.
Rongai. Yeah.
You took her to oh, bro.
South B, all of us.
Hey, you're a Kushada.
And then South B was expensive, right? So
We
now
couldn't
moved to
afford
Rongai,
South B.
like a one-bedroom apartment where the shower was not
Like
working
we were
properly.
sleeping, I was sleeping on the sofa. It was like, we were students, so it was okay. Every day we would take a matatu.
You took her to Rongai.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm stuck at the Rongai situation. You brought her from the States to Rongai, bro. That's rough. Okay, but,
Rongai,
That's where the
but that's
customer
where the
is.
customer is, though. Because Rongai matatus are like the mathris. Like
Yes.
now you understand
Exactly.
the culture, right?
Yeah.
And how long were you here for?
Almost a month
Okay.
to do the pilot. I think the pilot ran for 2 months. So we had
months,
to,
yeah.
we were also part of an accelerator
Mm-hmm.
with the Halt Prize. So we were switching places. Like 2 of us would be in Kenya and 2 of us would be in the US to do the accelerator, and we would switch.
Okay.
And we would keep on updating each other so that we also then go through the accelerator and use our learnings to build the story to pitch at the finals
Right.
as well.
And
Yeah.
at this time, so you have applied. So the campus when you're out.
Yeah.
So you have applied for what? The regional.
Wild card.
Wild card, just in
Lottery.
case. And you two have such good luck individually that combined things. I mean, statistically, it's just proven that there's a chance that you will win. I mean,
I
both of you
guess,
got
yeah.
scholarships.
Yeah.
And I mean, that situation is wild. And then you meet. Okay, so now you come, you've done your pilot, you go back to the States. What happens?
No, I mean the lottery came before
In the regionals.
pilot, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you lose the campus round, we innovate the business model and apply, and I think it's only one person that gets the wild card all through.
Again, it's you
Yeah,
lucky
so we got it.
bananas.
But now there are 5 regionals. So there's Boston, Boston,
San
Dubai,
Francisco.
San
Yeah.
Francisco,
Yeah.
all this, and they put us in the hardest
San
place.
Francisco.
No, Boston.
Oh, which is harder, that's for sure.
Because now you're
Harvard
That's
Business
Harvard
School,
Business School.
MIT.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
All
dying.
these are like.
Yeah, no.
So now, so we competed there, and I think we were 45 teams.
45 teams.
Yes. So
And
You
you know,
over there with your-
and it
with
could
your
be
Rongai
it
bus
could be
business.
anywhere, anyone who is in school, right? So it doesn't have to. We were undergrad students
Yeah.
who had not even graduated, and we were competing against like
PhD.
HBS,
students.
PhD, MIT,
MIT and
business,
Harvard.
and MIT and
Yeah,
Harvard,
the
East
business
Coast,
school.
like really smart people.
These are really, really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our pitch deck, I think you should watch that thing. I think
It's on YouTube.
when we pitched, yeah.
You guys were the massive
one
win.
one of the judges said like our pitch deck. Was
Looks
it
like a
something?
toy deck.
Yeah, it looks like
You
a
get
kid's
like a
toy
lot of
deck.
colors.
Toy deck.
On
Yeah.
Google Slides. was
toy
really bad.
deck.
Yeah.
Yo, man.
But I think the business idea and the impact stood.
Yeah, it stood out above
Yes,
everybody else.
yes,
Did you take pictures in Rongai that you put on your pitch deck?
Yeah.
Because that's the one that
Yeah.
won. That picture in Rongai shows that you guys are really from the hood.
Yeah.
We have some pictures.
We took the pitch, and I think what they liked was, even when we were doing the regionals, we had reached out to there was like a conductor who had turned into a matatu, like a Sako manager,
Right.
and he used to write a blog. So we reached out to him even before we went to Kenya,
Yes.
and asked him, like, this is our idea. Do you think
Yeah.
it's gonna work? And we got his testimonial too.
Nice.
So all of that and the numbers and how we want to execute it really resonated with the judges.
Right.
And we won the Boston regionals. Honestly, we're
You
like,
won the Boston regionals. That's 45 companies that you cleaned out.
yeah, and some of the really smart ones. Yeah.
Good ones.
That must have been a big
Really,
surprise for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you were still 4 of you at that time.
Yes.
Kenya, India, Congo, US.
Yes.
Wow. And what was the Boston regionals amount?
There was no amount. Then you progress to the
What is the purpose?
It's to progress to the next level.
Oh, because it's tiered.
yeah. And then you have like big $1 million at the global,
At the top.
right?
Yes.
So
And now that you've done the Boston, have you reached the middle? Are you at the top now, or do you have to win another
now
one?
there's 6 teams.
Six teams now that goes. So five of the regional. You remember we mentioned 5 regionals.
Yes.
So 5 regionals and 1
And a wild card. You
So
guys were the
6.
wild card.
No, we won.
You won
this time.
clean,
Yes,
Boston clean.
Yeah.
And then now there's the 5 and the wild card.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now the 5 of you go to the finals.
Yes.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
New York, during the New York
CGI.
CGI,
What is CGI?
Clinton Global Initiative,
Mm.
and it happens during the UN conference where all the presidents are and all these guys.
Oh, hey, that's fancy.
Yes.
Okay, that's
so,
good.
So it
Okay.
happens in that week.
Okay, sour.
Yeah.
And you guys went for that.
Yes.
Okay, this is the story everybody should know.
Yeah.
How did it go?
I
Who
think
pitched?
All of
All
us.
of us.
All 4 of you went
Yeah.
on stage?
We had 5 minutes to pitch and
Yes.
6 minutes for Q&A. So it
Yeah.
was very like we needed to time it. We needed to make sure the story makes sense. We
Yeah.
raised some money to get like a good designer to do our
Alright,
pitch
Because
deck.
you couldn't do the toy pitch deck from Google anymore.
Of
Yeah.
course, we couldn't do the toy pitch
These
deck.
are presidents and
Yeah.
who is who.
Who's who?
Yeah.
Clinton Global Initiative is big.
Yes.
How old are you at that time? Like you're in your early 20s?
Now I'm 30.
Okay, so
I'm
then
I
you're
think you were
20.
22. I was
22.
23. Yeah.
So you guys were like kids
Kids.
with like 3 years experience.
Yes,
right?
and I think that's one thing that with starting business early, I think that's one thing we got beaten a lot.
Yeah.
Like, with these kids,
They're
businesses,
tiny. They don't know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
like you don't have experience, and we're
yeah.
we were just not born early.
They weren't born early.
Yeah.
No, what are we supposed to do? It's not our fault.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go for that Clinton Global Initiative. You get in there. You had 6 minutes, 5 minutes to pitch. Do you do 1 minute, or did one person speak?
It's like a flow. It's a story. So we
Yeah.
wanted to, it was speaking about the impact, but also the numbers and how big
Yeah.
we can become.
Right.
So it wasn't like 1 minute, but actually the story needs to fit. And then there was Q&A.
Right.
The judges were really great. So we had the president of Cisco, John Chamberlain.
Yes.
We had the late Bob Colomo
Yes.
as one of the judges. We had president of African Development Bank.
Yeah.
And
The Earth founder, Earth Day.
they found the person who, I think, president of Ogilvy, so like a huge branding person too.
Right.
So really great judging
right,
team, yeah.
And they liked you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was so funny. The morning before the competition, I think Sonia and I went for a run.
Yeah.
And because just to relieve stress.
Because it's
Like,
crazy,
it
man.
takes you 6 minutes to win $1 million.
Imagine that.
And
Well, it
that 6
doesn't.
minutes
It takes you
can-
months and living in Rongai, but that
Yeah.
6 minutes is the.
Yeah,
That's-
like you
that's
can't
the-
faint, you know.
can't
you need
faint.
to,
You
yeah.
can't faint. I like that.
You can't faint. You can't. There've been previous competitions where someone just stood on stage and because of that pressure they just fainted.
Nice. Terrible.
Yeah.
That's
so
unfortunate.
we are trying to avoid that. So
Yeah.
we went
So let's
for,
run.
We went for the run, and then after that we stopped by McDonald's or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
which beat the logic. But we were like, like, what happens if we don't win?
That's good.
So, yeah.
What's the worst that could happen?
what's our worst outcome? And everyone had improved a lot.
Yeah.
So all these, they had their pitch deck, etc., and all this. And then by then we're just like, let's give it our best. Whatever happens, happens.
Because now you've looked at the best case scenario.
Yes.
But you've also looked at the worst case
Yes,
scenario.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And all of them are okay.
Yeah, and even after the 6 minutes pitch, because there was this one competitor that even during the pitch, what they did is, because the dad is a bit rich,
Yeah.
they put their samples, so they were designing like Rolex, you know Rolex in Uganda?
Yeah.
Those ones.
Yeah.
So they managed to put Rolex on every table of their attendees.
Every
So when they were
table.
pitching, they were like, "Did you test the Rolex? It's our sample." And they're like, "This guy's got
You
us
can't
off."
feed first tickets, so yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, so even after that, we like the pitch ended 6 minutes each, and then the judges went to the deliberation room. We had the one pager that we were distributing to the attendees.
Yeah.
To raise money.
Right.
Because we are preparing for the worst case scenario.
Of course
if
you are.
we don't win.
Give me $1,000, president of X.
Yes.
yes.
And finally we got like $500,000 from this Indian family.
$500,000?
Yeah, but we didn't take the investment.
Oh, it was an investment.
It was
Yeah,
a family office that
Yeah.
really wanted us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're like, we already won this $1 million,
Yeah.
right? Let's first prove ourselves
Right.
Yeah, so
before we take on
You've
more
jumped
money.
the gun, though.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes.
I
Okay, so you had
broke
this
the
one
story.
pager that you passed around as the judges were deliberating.
You can edit it.
No, I can't edit it. No, everybody knows. But let's keep going. So you guys are in a room, or are you in the crowd? What's happening?
we are in the crowd. It's meant to be like lunch and interactive session, but
Yeah.
we most of the time were sweating like.
Guns, man.
Yeah,
We-
they're supposed to take 1 hour. They took like almost 2 hours.
We met some really, like, we met great celebrities.
Oh, like
and-
who did you meet? Like that's a photo op situation.
Yeah, we have a photo with,
George Clooney.
no, not George.
If you don't remember his name immediately, he's not a celebrity.
No,
The
the one
person
from...
that invested in Uber as well.
Yeah,
Like
one
so
of the
many-
initial investors in Uber. The one from Bangladesh, the one who does...
Mohammed Yunus.
Muhammad
Mohammed
Yunus.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, hey, that's good.
Yeah. So
that's
we have
good.
a photo with him too.
And he's a Nobel Peace Prize winner
Yeah.
too. So.
Yes,
Yeah.
and like really. So I
There
think
was, Dangote was there. All
Nice.
was there.
Yeah.
personally, I was like, how many 23-year-olds get this opportunity?
Zero, none,
Yeah.
almost no
So I
one.
was just feeling really. I think for me, it was like, if we win, that will be amazing. But what we have learned so far and the networks we have made.
Yeah.
That was I was very grateful for that as well.
And that's where you came to the $1 million. And you guys, how did that announcement happen? Because you must have lost your
I
minds.
think
It
it,
was-
took us a while to even believe it.
It was President Bill Clinton
Yeah.
who was announcing, and he dropped a hint. He was like, he was saying something about movement of people, and I was like, we are the only ones doing movement, so it's us. And then he's like, the winner is Magic Bus, the Uber for matatus, and we were like,
What?
yeah. I was like, I was trying to pinch myself.
Yeah.
It was,
I
it was a
think
very
everyone
surreal
even
moment.
stood up before we stood up because
Yeah.
we're like,
I was like winning an Oscar. Everyone else stands up. Are you listening to the right thing?
Yeah.
And Bill Clinton said Magic Bus.
Yeah.
First of all, that's a moment because it's
Yeah.
called Magic Bus. You know, it's still very kindergarten-y. Magic Bus.
yes.
And boom, you guys were worth $1 million more than you were the day before. Amazing. That must have, like, how crazy was that?
I mean, it took us, like, it was crazy. And also just seeing Bob Collymore there. You know, Bob Collymore, like, is a big personality in
Yeah,
Kenya. You
yeah.
have Africa Development Bank. And just seeing them there and President Clinton
Yeah.
waiting for you to
Waiting for you
come
to climb up the stairs,
I'm like, I'm going
and you're
to
going to
walk.
shake all their
And
hands.
there's
Yeah.
Secret Service and all this. And I was
A
like,
Secret Service.
yeah, I was like, wow. Yeah. It took us a while and all this, but even giving, the whole, like, we didn't even celebrate. Did we celebrate?
No.
We never celebrated.
But we also, I think you obviously didn't come, but because it was 3 girls and 1 guy.
Yeah.
The girls, we went to the Mac store and got like makeup done because we're
Oh,
like, if
yes,
we win, we
yes.
need a good photo.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Bro, you just washed with soap and you're
Yeah.
good to go.
Vaseline.
And then you wipe sweat.
So we got our hair. So we were like, okay, we need to be ready if this is a moment. And we coordinated our outfits too as
Nah,
well.
Yes.
African wear or
Yeah.
Yeah, African wear.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
think that's where that's the money shot.
Ankara.
Yeah, for sure. That was, and you're still the 4 of you
No.
at that time.
Yeah. By
Oh,
then,
when you were
yeah.
winning
Yeah.
with the 4 of
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
yeah.
and you won $1 million.
Yes.
And then what happened?
then we were like, okay, we were
Because you're 23, 24, or 22, 23.
yeah.
Have you graduated?
Shit,
I had
Right.
Wycliffe had a semester
I
left.
had a
Yeah.
semester left.
And you're
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
And you have to do this business.
I have to go back to school.
You have to go back to school for a term,
To
graduate,
complete, yeah.
and then you have to come to Kenya and build this
Yeah.
business.
So I actually came to Kenya before. Obviously, Wycliffe came for the summer holidays.
Yeah, yeah.
But then it was us. We were then planning to move to Kenya. Back then, I had also won a grant to do a project in India. It was a smaller grant.
Right.
So it was like a lot for me. And then we had a discussion where I took a month to execute the grant. I was doing STEM education for women in underprivileged areas. Did that and then convinced my family, like, I'm going to Kenya.
How crazy you must have.
Be a doctor.
No, because that was the plan. You were going to be a doctor.
I mean, I always thought I would run a business. Both my parents own businesses.
Okay.
So this was something I really wanted to do. But never thought it would come in this way. I thought I would get experience, then start something of my own. But then, boom, like there's this opportunity.
When you get $1 million, things change.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
when you get
yeah,
$1 million, just when you get $1 million, things change. But when you get $1 million from Bill Clinton,
That's a
with-
completely-
that's a completely
yeah.
in front of presidents. Everything is different.
Yeah.
So you've come to Kenya now.
Yeah.
You finished school.
Yeah.
You've come to Kenya. Your two partners have also come to Kenya.
Yeah.
Had they been? Oh, of course, because you switched. So and now you're going to implement this, and everybody is watching you.
Yeah. Pressure.
You're in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Pressure.
Are you even dating at that point? Do you have family? Do you have
No,
friends?
no.
You're just
No, just
you're
moved,
just
yeah.
big kids
Yeah.
with a lot of money in the bank.
Yeah.
Not really all the money because it was
Yeah,
tied
it's
to
challenging.
milestones.
It's milestones, which is
Yeah.
the worst way to get money. The
Yeah.
absolute worst way to get money.
Yeah.
But now you have a little money in the bank, and
Yeah.
and when you come, what do you decide you're gonna do? Technology, but like
Pivot.
I think we
the
realized
idea was not good.
The idea.
It was
Just disclosure, the idea we won with is not going to be scalable.
it's rubbish.
Yeah.
And now we want to pivot.
Okay.
and I mean this was
Tell me
also
about that pivot situation. Huh?
it was like a gut feeling, but we also validated it as well. So
Yeah.
we actually went to different neighborhoods in Kenya because each one has a different way of running their matatus.
Yeah.
And we saw the market was so fragmented. There were cartels, and even Google and Safaricom were not able to crack it.
And they have more than $1 million.
Yeah, and we
They have
cracked it, by the
and
way.
they have the subscriber, and
base,
it
yeah.
worked in Rongai because it was a unique route.
Yeah.
It had many universities. How many of such routes can we find
Like
in
none.
Nairobi,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yes, maybe it could have worked as a small project in Rongai, but not really scalable. So around that time, there was a company in India called Red Bus that got acquired by Naspers in South Africa for like $200 million.
Boom.
And they were digitizing long distance buses.
Okay.
So that kind of also piqued our interest into long distance buses,
Right.
and we approached Easy Coach.
Obviously, yeah.
So, and they did not, interestingly, back then they did not even have M-Pesa payments.
Yeah, you
They
pay
did
live.
have a pay bill.
You pay
Yeah.
cash, then they give you like a paper, and
Yeah,
that's what you get
yeah,
into the
yeah.
bus with in the morning.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's such a huge company, right?
It is.
So they were keen, they were on board, they're like, okay, you can pilot, and we built our first solution, which was USSD bookings.
Right.
For Easy Coach for long distance. We only started with Nairobi Kisumu route because Wycliffe.
Kisumu is home, man. Kisumu City is home. No, yeah, if you take care of your people, market.
Still our
Market.
it's
It's
still
still your
our
biggest
biggest route.
route.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. So we
So you did that?
So we pivoted to that, and we realized for the matatu sector, it needs to be a very different intervention, which we do not have the capacity for.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then while you're doing that, what's happening with your team? Is your team growing? Are you're still
No,
four
we're
of you?
still like 5 probably. We had like one consultant developer.
Okay.
All of us were wearing different hats. I tried to learn more about product management. IDEO wanted to work with us, but then when we saw how much they were going to charge,
Yeah, like
we were
$300,000.
yeah, we're
That's
like,
it. Oh, your
okay.
million, no thanks.
No, it's still quite a lot. So we just did it on our own.
And you were, because both of you did computer science to some extent.
But we
A
didn't
little
call it.
bit,
So
yeah.
you're non-coding type folks.
Yeah, non-coding, product management
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
For the first USSD we built, actually, we built it we did like a sprint with the developers. So we, it was not very stable either. So we had to
That's how
go
start.
through all the issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now, okay, so fast forward, it's been 2 years, 3 years. You've been doing this for a while, because I'm guessing that's what year are we on when it's 2-3 years?
2018.
I'm trying to get to, because I want to
No,
just get,
2017.
I don't want to get 2019. I want to get to 2019 because
Okay,
now
yeah.
I think 2017 is still key.
Is key?
Because we did Easy Coach, then we got the SGR contract.
that's where I was trying. I was actually
Yeah.
trying to get this. I thought that
Yeah.
was 2019. That was 2017.
2017.
17,
September.
yeah.
So that's the one I want to know, because government contracts.
Yeah, I mean,
Let's
All
talk about
thanks
that.
to Bob. and
Bob
Safaricom.
Collymore, late Bob Collymore.
Okay.
But I mean, we had a good pilot in
Okay.
Easy Coach. We were surprised nobody else was doing it. When we heard the news that SGR was launched, we thought they would already come with like a website or something to book.
Yeah.
Nope.
They did not have that,
They
and
didn't.
the train station is so far away.
Yeah.
And then I think one of our customers tweeted like, "Hey, Kenya Railways, why don't you get BuuPass to build a booking?"
Yo,
Yeah.
have you should take that and post it and put it on a wall somewhere.
Twitter led
Okay.
to SGR led to Safaricom, and we partnered in it.
Yeah.
Because interestingly, nobody thought about USSD in transport by then.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
nobody
still, I
was
mean, you said it
using-
now, and I'm like, I wouldn't even now, I'm not thinking about it. I'm like,
yes.
yeah,
And
okay.
it was such a key thing because the internet was still very expensive.
Yeah.
And that's when Safaricom was trying to launch giga bundles
Yes.
to make it more affordable.
For like
etc.
2.5.
Yes, but it was
of-
still very,
it's very
expensive.
expensive, yeah.
So USSD was a key thing.
Yeah.
And even SGR, we started with USSD.
Yeah, USSD.
So we had the technology ready.
Because you've done Easy Coach.
Yeah, we had done
Did
Easy
you help them with
Coach.
their website?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
because I remember you talked about it one time that you helped them with their website, and I was like,
Yes.
this is insane.
Yes.
You know?
and so the technology was ready. We had people tweeting, people using, etc. And then when the minister, I think the CS by then approached Safaricom, and I think the CS had already seen the tweet as well.
Yeah.
And the late Bob Collymore said, Safaricom has the muscle as well, but we want to also work with you. So
Yeah.
why don't we partner and go in this together?
Nice.
And
Because
that's-
only Bob could have said that.
Yes,
No
yes.
one else could have said that.
And
Yeah.
we did that in like 2-3 weeks. 3 weeks it was like.
So the thing was, there were 50 other companies pitching.
Yes.
This is a big contract. Everybody knew that.
Yeah.
We tried to pitch on our own, and then we saw the stack of companies who were pitching. We're
You're
like, we don't
nah,
have a
we don't have-
chance.
you don't.
So going through Safaricom made sense.
Yeah, because Safaricom is like Goliath.
Yeah, and
The
then
moment he shows up, all the other 50 companies fizzle out and die.
Yeah.
That's true.
And the MD of Kenya Railways back then was like, people are saying, we don't have a booking system, and we have launched the SGR. We need it ASAP. If
Yeah.
you can do it in 2 weeks,
We've got you.
we got
Yeah.
Then you
Left up
have the.
SGR.
So the Syokima
Station.
station.
Yeah.
So besides that, there's a whole station where they do operations. There's a server room. So what we did was I went through all my contacts and called all the developers. I thought that they could help us, and we
Yeah.
did like a hackathon for 2 weeks. We were just there
For 2
coding
weeks.
because they also did not want it to be on the cloud. There were complications with that, so we had to be close to the server room to do some testing and all of that. So yeah, in 2 weeks we
You
pushed out.
called people and you're like, yo, I need you to come and help me
Yeah,
with this.
yeah,
like
yeah,
clean.
yeah.
That was
Yeah.
insane. That's crazy, man.
Like
Yeah.
Hackathon.
Hackathon,
Really?
yeah.
How many guys did you get?
I think we were like 6 people focusing on just building that and and this was, working with, so they already had a back-end system,
Yeah.
which was built by the Chinese. So we were working with the Chinese team who did not even could speak, they could not
English.
speak English. We had to work with the translator. The way they had built their APIs, they were not the modern ones. We had to build a wrapper around it. So it was a lot of work. It was not just like plugging into that system.
At this point, you're like 26,
24.
27.
Yeah.
You're still big kids, man. you're providing Kenya with a railway booking system at 20 something.
Yeah.
Beast mode. I love it. I'm
And
so proud
that's
of you
what
guys.
I sold to the developers too. I was like, imagine so many people, millions of people will be booking
Through this.
you need to. So a lot of them actually were working full-time jobs, and they gave like a leave. They were like, oh, I'm taking a leave for a week.
Because
and
I'm
they
going
came.
to change the world right now.
Yeah.
Change Kenya and do it.
So-
Some of them even worked with us to date.
Yeah.
Till now.
Yeah, so
no,
two-
because come
two
on,
of
that's
them
such
are
a
now with us
that's such
now.
a good vision, man. We're
Yeah.
gonna change the way. Like I've got
Yeah.
goosebumps. Look at me, like goosebumps. I'm like I want to be that guy. And so you get this done. You put it. You implement it.
Yeah.
It works. And the team is still 4? You're 5? You're 6? You're 10?
Probably 6-ish, 6, 7 now. Yeah.
You're 7 people.
Yeah.
I think Charity came on board then.
Yes,
Somebody in
yes.
Kisumu.
That's
yeah.
2017. So Congolese girls still here, American girls still here, you're here, and you're here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, Sawa. So let's move in. 2018 comes through. SGR, you've done the website. 2019. What happens? Anything in the 2018, 2019 states
I
before we
mean,
get
I
into
think
COVID?
2017, 2018, we also had the fallout.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the
It was
fallout.
Sonia's birthday, so she can talk about
Oh my God.
Let's talk about this. It was your
The whole
birthday.
story.
What's happening?
My parents were here in Kenya for the first time.
I like
They
it.
were still on the fence about the idea because, they were like, why would you give up a great career path in the US, which is what all my peers were doing as well, and come to
A third world country in Africa.
Kenya? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, we sent you out of India not to be suffering with the same issues. So they were here, and then so to back this up, we were supposed to be 2 signatories on a bank account, right? And we had the person who had a lot of control on the bank accounts. Wyclife was still in the States, so he could not be added for me. I needed my work permit to be approved, and that was being intentionally delayed
Oh.
by our other former co-founder.
Okay.
And
Name them. It's fine. You can't get sued. You can't get sued. You can't get
Name
sued.
can sue us.
Name them. It's fine.
But
I can name
I
them.
think it's a public knowledge.
It's public
public
knowledge that
knowledge.
Leslie was your co-founder.
Yeah.
There's no secret. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you feel like that you believe that your work permit was being delayed by Leslie,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
also that they were a powerful signatory.
And there was trust, right?
Of course there
They
is.
were all friends. They were roommates.
Her and I knew each other from the first day of
Yeah.
college. We
Come
were
on now.
They were roommates
roommates.
in college. Even at the time the incident was happening, they were still roommates.
Yeah.
So what was the
Like,
deal?
she was one of my really close friends. Like, we
Yeah.
went through this whole like coming of age in college together and all that. Like,
And
it
where
was
is she originally from?
from Congo,
Brazzaville.
Brazzaville.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, South
yeah,
Africa,
yeah.
right,
So so I think there was a level of trust too. I was like, okay, maybe genuinely something is happening. I
Yeah.
trust my friend,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
But then we were doing monthly reconciliation.
On
and
your birthday? Because we're still at your birthday.
No, I'll lead up to my birthday.
Oh, yeah,
so
cool,
Wycliffe found an issue with the reconciliation, a few shillings, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
A
were
few
like,
shillings could be,
Yeah, I mean,
1,500 shillings?
I think their alarm was Sonia's work permit.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then KRA, we had penalties,
Okay.
but on the reconciliation it shows that we had
We have paid
them.
penalties, okay.
Then I think then there was some money withdrawn,
Okay.
but there was no accountability. So now when we ask for the statement,
Yeah.
we get the statement that actually adds up.
Yes.
Like,
So that the money was there,
everything is adding up.
but there's
but
stuff
the
not paid
actions
for.
are
Yeah,
not
it's just
reflecting
reflecting
that.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are like, there's something into this. By then, it couldn't into your mind like someone can actually edit bank statement in a way that it adds up.
Right.
You know, PDFs can be edited,
Yeah.
guys.
So
Yo, this
section
is
should
crazy right now.
Should be labeled as lesson what not to do as a co-founder.
Lesson one.
Lesson
Fraud is a problem.
Lesson 1, don't be one signatory.
Yeah,
2,
yeah.
Okay.
don't trust friends.
So,
Put systems in order. It's not don't trust friends.
Yeah.
Put systems in order.
Correct.
There you
Yeah,
go. Okay.
yeah.
so I just went to Leslie. I was like, you need to add me as I got my work permit. I was like, the first thing you gotta do is add me as a signatory. She added me. Same time my parents were coming. It was my birthday. And then in 2 days, I was going to get access
Yeah.
to the online banking.
Right.
But I knew somebody at the bank. So I was like, okay, I'm added as a signatory already.
Just
Give me,
give me
the
the-
statements.
Yeah.
He sends me the statements. I still remember it. I was in actually Java at Junction here
Yeah.
with my dad, and I opened the statement. There was only $3 left in the bank account.
$3?
In the USD bank account.
How much money were you supposed to have at that point?
We were supposed to have like 6-digit figures
Couple
in
hundred-
USD.
Couple 100,000.
Yeah, a couple of 100,000.
You have $3.
Yes.
You're missing a couple $100,000.
Yeah.
Yo.
And then
It's your birthday.
even in Kenyan shillings, right? and
Yeah,
then I'm
Kenyan
like, a
shillings
lot
are-
of things are going through my mind. I'm like,
A lot of things?
what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I'm here with people who I want to show that my life is good here. And now they see that I'm going through
$3.
yeah. Then I tell my parents, like, this is what has happened. And I expected a completely different response, but my dad was like, okay, sit down. Let's go through the statement and go through it. And me too. I was like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah.
And then he was like, go through the statement, find out how much how much has been stolen.
Yes.
We come up with an amount. Then then we decide that, okay, now we need to take some action, right?
Yeah.
Because then we were advised that we need to go to the police first, because this is huge amounts of money.
This is large.
So I actually go with my dad to Parklands police station,
Good
file
police
a
station.
report.
Very well done.
File a report, and then in the front of my eyes, we had to like arrest the co-founder. Yeah. And
You actually went and got arrested.
I mean, for one day we had to, because there was not enough. This was embezzlement.
Yeah.
Case. This was criminal.
This is criminal.
Yeah, so this needed to be done, and it was a lot of like us being gaslighted and not being told what is happening in the company. So we knew that a conversation wouldn't work, because we tried that so many times ourselves. We even got a moderator to help us too, but it never worked either.
She just stole it.
Yeah, she just stole it, and then that's where we had like this breakup, and we had to go through a lot of stuff after that.
I'm sure and that must have been first personal betrayal.
Yeah.
That must have hurt a hell of a lot. And then the second one is business betrayal, because now you don't have the money to do what
You're
Bill
supposed
Clinton
to
gave
do.
you money to do.
Exactly.
Bob Coleman is looking at y'all.
Yeah. I mean, the partners, fortunately, so Sonia's dad, our
Like your dad has to get involved. Yeah.
The partner, Safaricom, the Easy Coach, and a few clients that we had were not shocked by this.
Oh.
They were shocked because of betrayal, etc. But they didn't say like, because BuuPass, one of your founders, have been involved, etc. We are
killing it. Okay.
So they were very, very supportive.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
That's
Bob
good.
Colimo was really supportive. The people at Safaricom were very supportive.
Yeah.
Our close people, Sonia's dad, my family were very supportive.
Because your dad must have stayed longer.
Yeah, he said, and he was like, you need to stay back and make it right.
Yeah.
He's like, this happens in business, and I guess it shows, when you run a business for a long time, you see stuff.
You see some
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Because you're breaking. You're breaking.
I'm
falling
like,
apart.
okay, I'm ready to, give
up
this
and get
up.
that.
Like, this is too much.
But your dad's like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, you need to fight this too, because you have also put an effort to build this as well.
Yeah.
And even our investors, so by then, this time half price, because we had raised the issue before, by the time it was ending, so we had raised Real is not adding as a signatory.
Okay.
We are having this reconciliation that's not adding up. Please come help us.
Oh, nice. So you are open and honest about it.
Yeah.
Right.
So because we had raised, and this is maybe lesson number 2 to founders.
Yes.
Is when something happens.
Number three.
Try communicate it very early on.
Okay, so number 1, have processes and procedures.
Yes.
Number 2, what was number 1?
Don't have one signatory.
Have processes and procedures. Don't have one signatory. Communicate early.
Communicate early. So
Communicate
we communicated
early,
early, and by the time we got with the call, on call with the CEO of Half Price, and told him this has happened. We have the co-founder arrested, and this is what we have $0.
Yeah.
And then he was like, guys, always trust your instinct. You raised this early on, I think we would have acted much faster. What we are going to do is we are going to get this business back and running.
Yo.
So
Come on now.
we started BuuPass 2.0.
And at that
Yeah.
point, did they give you extra money?
Very less.
Very less.
Like
I
what,
think
100,000?
No, even less than that.
Like 25K?
20,000-30,000 just to
Yo,
get
that's
you
better than
started.
$3, man.
True.
Yeah.
That's better
But
than
I
$2.
think also because we had paying customers, so
Yeah.
maybe lesson number 4, have paying customers.
Have paying customers. I hope folks are taking notes, man. Have paying
It helps you
customers.
when things go bad.
Yeah.
So I think because we had paying customers, we were able to pay some bills.
Yeah.
And get the investor confidence back, and also put in structures in place.
Yeah.
So we had
Because this time now you're done with school, you're back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had to put structures in place. develop a finance document, manual, hired a consulting firm to help us look at the organization again, do a health check, have 2 signatories at this point.
Yeah.
We moved from being cash, like withdrawing money using checkbooks, to everything
Digital.
online.
Yeah.
So even when you transfer from M-Pesa when bank to M-Pesa, it's a dedicated M-Pesa line
Yeah.
that someone can go pull records. We moved from having QuickBook desktop to having QuickBooks online.
Yeah. Cloud.
So even if we are traveling, someone can log in and actually. So it
was a good lesson.
Yeah, it took a lot.
It was an expensive lesson.
Very
it was
expensive.
an expensive
But it was a good lesson, I think.
Yeah. And I would say another lesson is be ready to have difficult discussions.
Yes.
I think we also knew something was wrong.
Yeah, but you're not ready.
Yeah,
talk.
because
not
like remember when Leslie tried to get a loan from one of our advisors?
Yes, yes.
Like she went around saying, "Oh, I really need a loan because my sister is unwell, my boyfriend
Having
is
a
unwell."
surgery and
But none of that was true.
But she has $100,000 that she's taking
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
company. Like,
and
what did she do with
couple
that
of
money?
$100,000.
Couple $100,000. Like,
$100,000.
and did she get thrown in jail, or did she just?
So it was a long process.
Right.
So her passport was taken. It was both a criminal and civil case.
Yeah.
And we almost it was in court for like 3 years almost.
3 years. Yeah.
3 years.
And she was in jail this entire time.
No.
Oh, you
Just
know, in
one
Kenya,
night.
you just pay a
Bail.
bail,
Yeah,
and
bail.
you're out.
Yeah.
And
Because
you
it
can-
was still being proven and all that. We're collecting all the evidence. But even though like a lot of people could have been bribed, I think we still got justice in the
we
end.
still got justice.
What was
Yeah.
justice like?
Getting part of the money.
She still had it. She had it.
I mean, the parents had to pay.
Yeah, of course they did.
And then also her giving back all our shares at BuuPass.
Yeah.
So we don't have anything going forward.
Right.
And so those two are the most important thing. Getting part of the money and also documenting the process, because when an investor, and this is something we are very open about. So when an investor come to a data room, they have to see, this incident happened. How did you deal with it?
Yes, they want to know that. That matters.
Yes. So documenting
You
what
got messed
we
up,
did
but here's where. Yeah.
to change the process. What governance did we put in place? Did we put an effort to get the money? So we got the money. Did we get shares back? We got the shares back. And also like documenting the process, because someone can come later and say, I did not steal money.
Yeah.
But we have to show a case
You have to
number
show a case
was
that you
there.
did
There
it.
was an OB number, there was evidence, there was forensic audit, etc. So
Nice.
that was important.
Yeah.
Good for you guys. This is gonna be BuuPass 1 because we have to do BuuPass 2. But you just got money from Tim Draper recently. You're raising some good capital, and there's a 4-year gap we have not talked about, and some things that have happened in that period of time. We'll have to invite you again to come and do that. But there's something special you have done in South Africa that you want to tell me about. And what is that cool thing? Just as we're coming to a close.
Break the news.
Let's do the you know what I mean? Let's end on a high. What's the
Exactly 2 weeks ago, we finalized acquiring QuickBus, which was our biggest competitor on the continent. And now we are in South Africa and Nigeria. So BuuPass is a Pan-African company. We're in East Africa, Southern Africa, West Africa.
You guys are and you're 30 and you're 31.
30.
You're 30 and you're 29.
No, he just turned 30.
You just
I turned 30.
so you're both of you are 30 years old.
Few months.
Yeah, a few months.
So
yeah.
you're 30 years old
Yeah.
with a Pan-African bus ticketing service.
Service. And now we have routes into 15 different countries. And our vision is to enable seamless movement for people and goods. And we are getting so close to that, in Africa.
You guys are amazing. Especially because, and I think there's nothing more phenomenal than when you get betrayed and broken by somebody so close to your roommate. I can't even begin to, I don't even want to, like the trauma of just that alone, especially when your parents who you're trying to prove a point to are here. It must have been crazy. But I love what your father did for you. I mean, I think that changed your life.
That changed my relationship with him too.
Yeah.
So in a way, I think it's been a process of growth.
Yes.
I feel like if we did not go through that, we wouldn't have been here either.
I mean, we're paying for Harvard MBA using that, right?
Yeah.
Like a lesson worth of an MBA.
That's for sure. Yeah, you went to school on that thing. Like, hey. I was like, in my head, I was like, wait, you paid for half of it. Then I was like, oh, that's what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. But your successes, and I want you to, like, as we close, I want you to help me understand. Now that I know what the lowest moment was, one of the lowest moments, I want to know what for you is success. What does success look like for you? And I know you're still young. 30 is still a typically young age, but it's not an easy question for people even in their 40s, 50s, and 60s to answer. So let's finish with that. Sonia, what is success to you?
Wow. What is success to me? I think I've always been somebody who wanted something more than like the material stuff, right? Like success, definitely would love to have financial independence, more wealth for my family and all of that. But I think for me, a success is also being one of the people who are creating impact. And this is a question I've been asking myself too, like, what role am I playing in the innovation ecosystem, in the startup ecosystem, and how can I give back as well? So I think when I'm much older, I would like to really think about how much impact I have created. And I don't say impact very lightly, like, giving to charity or like people need my intervention, but more of how I have created a company, how I've contributed to startup ecosystem. I'm really passionate about women in science and women in entrepreneurship.
Right.
And what role have I played to propel that further?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's. Hey, bro, you're coming after that. You can't be shady. So, what about you?
I mean, to me, it means one thing that sums most of the thing is like showing that it can be done. So, BuuPass, at many times, I think we had to prove ourselves against the odds. So, from starting, undergrad students from different continents and from different backgrounds. So you get a lot like, oh, you are non-techie, you can't do this, etc. But showing like there's maybe another way, another path. So non-techie developing, good in product and developing a good tech company. Acquiring, we were like, oh, you came late, this competitor came in and advance, we've raised from them, we've put money in them. Showing them like, yes, we started late, but we can acquire them and acquire you in our cap table.
There you go.
That's
a ballsy move. That's
so
fine. Now here we are.
Yeah.
You're dealing with us.
Yeah. Like, oh,
You didn't want to invest in us, but you're on our cap table.
You're on our cap table. We bought your company.
now you're here. And even during COVID, you're like, oh, you can't operate, etc. Showing even our stuff like, there are unconventional ways of doing this. Like 9 months we transport shut down.
Yeah.
But like 80% of our staff remained on the payroll.
Nice.
And some of them are still with us today. Like we are not going, etc. Because you stayed with us.
That's a win. That's such a win.
Yeah, defining that path for young entrepreneurs and showing them like, you don't have to always play by the book, but you can do good and play in a different way that achieve even a bigger results. And in life that has been my motivation. Like what barrier am I breaking tomorrow? Like now Tim Draper, I think we are his third investment in Africa.
Yeah.
And showing that we can actually go to pitch to Silicon Valley and get
some good cash.
Get some good cash from a very well-known person.
And he only invests in companies which he thinks are going to become unicorns.
And showing them. And
But then I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You're 30, you're in East Africa, West Africa, and South Africa. And the South African one, you bought it. Like
yes. And even showing transport and logistics has been, like most investors nowadays like, oh, I want you to start during COVID time. In 2 years, raise $10 million in all this and stuff. But showing them there's actually another path of building a sustainable, well-growing business with better unit economics. but I don't have to grow like crazy.
No, you don't.
space.
You don't.
Yeah,
Because
so-
Africa is growing,
Yeah.
and it's gonna get there.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
be patient, and that
So-
money's gonna come to you.
Yeah, correct. And some
I
of
love
our
it.
investors have really understood that. Like we were
love
talking
that.
earlier about one of our investors. So
Yeah.
showing, to answer your question, breaking barriers and leading that path of showing that it can be done to young entrepreneurs.
You're both very brilliant people, and I love having you. Like this is
Thank
just
you.
yeah,
Thank you
no.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
And thank
This
you
is-
for telling stories.
Yeah, no, isn't that the thing though?
This is-
Because I told you it wasn't
it's
just gonna be about
important,
business.
yeah.
This is
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah,
about the
yeah.
relationship.
Yes.
You've
yes.
been friends for so long
Yes.
Yeah.
that for me, it's not the business is not the win.
Yeah.
The relationship is the
Yeah.
win.
Definitely.
But we have to do the second part of this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good to be here. Thank you so much for listening. My African Startup Story, Wycliffe. It's Wycliffe. You call him Wycliffe or Wycliffe?
He told me it was called Wyclife 10 years ago.
So it's Wycliffe and Sonia. You guys have been amazing. BuuPass is winning, and I can't wait to see the unicorn that's gonna come out because I think you're gonna be. If I don't
Thank
beat
you.
you to it, it's gonna be you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that's what's up. We can. I just want to see you guys there first. Nice guys. It was so good to have you.